Hi all, our notable game today features Rashid Nежметдинov. He was playing against Yakov Estrin in USSR Championship of 1951. For those of you not aware, you should check out my playlist for this Rashid Nежметдинov. He's one of the most exciting, aggressive, dynamic players in the history of the game. So much so, in fact, that Tal hired him as a trainer for the 1960 World Championship match against Mikhail Tal. It's a bit of a tragedy he never got the GM title, but apparently he wasn't allowed to travel internationally. So he was kind of repressed in a way, one could argue. But yeah, he played some extremely accurate games. I want to show you this game today against Estrin. Estrin is known as, well, I'll give you some brief bio on Estrin. He had a brief foray into over-the-board chess. So this was in 1951. He was still playing quite a bit of over-the-board. But he turned into correspondence chess, two correspondence chess in the early 60s, with immediate success. Joint first place in the USSR Correspondence Chess Championship in 1962. He became a correspondence grandmaster in 1966 and would go on to compete in the final of the World Chess Correspondence Championship 5 times, emerging as a champion of the 1972-76 edition. In 1975, he was awarded the IM title of over-the-board chess. So yeah, he was a great player on both disciplines, Yakov Estrin. But here, against one of the most feared, attacking combinational players in the history of the game. E4 by Rashid Nezhmetdinov. Knight F3. We have a royal pairs start to the game, classic royal pairs. Pretty standard stuff so far. Quite often bishop B7 is very popular in this particular position. We see D6, C3. Nothing special so far. H3. Now quite often here, black is playing knight A5. This is the classic treatments in royal pairs. And games often continue like this. And you'll see here that black has retained that C8 bishop. In this game, we see black playing bishop E6. And you might think, well, this looks like quite a good idea because this bishop can be potentially dangerous. The thing is, this has a defensive duty in the royal pairs on the F5 square. So have a look at the F5 square now, especially when the bishops come off, which they do now. After D4, white is immediately threatening D5, winning a piece. So black actually is invited positively to take on B3. White didn't shy away with bishop C2. He's saying to black, okay, take my bishop. So we have queen takes B3. And you might think, well, what is white doing? Without the lovely bishop pair, what are the attacking prospects? The position is slightly deceptive. Black's bishop on C8 was covering the F5 square. A knight coming to F5 will be extra dangerous in this particular position. One could argue black is slightly more vulnerable on all the knight squares. We see queen D7, knight D2, and there's the classic maneuver like this, which has more punch to it without black having the light square bishop. Rook F, E8, knight F1. So it's coming to G3. It's a classic royal pairs maneuver. E takes, C takes. Now, it's interesting, black plays knight A5, still carrying on as if it's like standard system and a standard sort of move. But here, queen C3 is with tempo. So asking the knight to move. Knight C4. Now after knight G3, it is becoming evident already that black has some problems. Even though white hasn't got the light square bishop, the position is actually quite attacking in flavour already. What is this? This is like a paradox. It's like the food is tasty and you haven't added any spices. It's to do with the C8 bishop. The C8 bishop is missing from this position. F5 is more dangerous than usual here. Also, this queen is actually, although it's on C3, it is pointing to black's king. It can get an influence potentially to black's king. This bishop might be influential on this diagonal. The knight is just asking for a kicking with B3 here. We see c5 and b3 kicking that knight back. And now white does achieve a seemingly dangerous battery here, bishop and queen. And black now reacts with b4. So is that the end of the queen around the king? No. Queen d2. The queen can come potentially now to g5 in the right circumstances. Knight f5 first, queen g5 would be dangerous. Looking at g7. We see a5. Now here, white opens up his bishop. D takes c5. This dark square bishop is now looking very dangerous. So who cares about not having the light square bishop? This position is looking exceptionally dangerous, so much so that white can actually play queen g5 now with impunity. The bishop is pinning down the knight, so there's no discovered checks against the queen that are useful here because of g7 being vulnerable, you know. So with queen takes g7 mate. So black kicks the queen, but now with this kicking of the queen back to f4, a knight coming to f5, while it was very attractive before, it's become exceptionally attractive now. It looks like a very, very strange situation where the classic strategy of getting a knight to f5, which is Kasparov's favourite square for a knight, seems to have been exacerbated here by black's earlier decisions, the absence of the light square bishop. And this looks like a very beautiful attacking piece on b2. Very, very beautiful attacking pieces in this position. Black tries to extinguish the bishop on b2 with c4, threatening c3. White has a move though, bishop d4, which not just avoids that, but hits the knight with tempo. And it's awkward what to do with that knight. If the knight stumbles back, maybe white's just going to take the pawn on c4. Black plays rook a6. So already there's some issues here, but white is not just interested in this pawn. He doesn't want to just try and win a pawn. Maybe black's got some good dark square play after that if he takes immediately here. White plays knight f5 in this position, and it introduces ideas, of course, like queen g3, and also, furthermore, things like knight takes h6 might be on the cards. Check, you know, taking on f6. This is a dangerous position after knight f5. So black tries to defend with queen e6. And this is where the master of combinations makes this position look like something to solve out of a puzzle book. This combination now is wonderful. And it's got a very, very beautiful sting at the end of the towel end of the combination. Can you see what white plays here? If I give you 5 seconds to pause the video now. So you'll either get plus 500 points or minus 500 points. 5 seconds more. Okay, if you chose queen g3, minus 500 points. Black, although attractive for trying to mate black, knight h5 is an important resource to bear in mind. No, if you found the move plus 500 points, bishop takes b6. And it's really awkward, this position for black. In fact now, queen takes b6, which wasn't played, would run into queen g3 with much greater effect than before. Why? Because knight h5 is refutable here. White can play queen e5 with the threat of knight takes e7 check and winning the knight on h5. This is a really difficult position. For example, if black tries to defend e7, we take on e7, then we're taking on h5. That's very, very difficult, that position. Lost. I just want to make 100% sure of that assessment. It's nearly +3 here. The best move given is rook a7. So taking, just losing a piece. If black tries to like move the queen in, we just take on e7. There's no problem there. So it's much more effective there. So basically black is left with rook takes b6. Let's let the background noise go. Rook takes b6. But white has a fantastic combination here, well, which he has triggered by bishop takes b6. Fantastically beautiful combination. What does white play in this position? If I give you 5 seconds starting from now. Okay. Both knights love f5 in this game. Knight takes g7, hitting the queen, smashing up black's pawn structure around the king. So fragmented pawns. Knight d4 with tempo on the queen, coming to f5 to replace the other knight, but with much more devastating effect than ever before, with h6 being vulnerable. The pawns shattered around the king. We see queen c8, knight f5 check. If the king moves to f8, black gets mated. So we're left with king g8. But now, queen g3 check. Now if the black king moves anywhere like here, it just gets mated with queen g7, checkmate. So black plays knight g4, trying to resourcefully defend here. But alas, queen takes g4, check. Whatever black plays, he's losing material in a heavy manner. Not only has black got apparently this one, but also this one, but both fell. Bishop g5. White has, can you guess? If I give you 5 seconds. Knight e7 check. This didn't happen in the game. Black resigned after the check here. So bishop, this, knight e7. We're winning the queen. We're winning the queen here. And the same goes with rook g6. Just knight takes e7. We're winning the queen. The best way to play it apparently here is queen takes c8, just to be a rook and knight up. Now you might wonder, hold on a sec, is there a load of hype around this Rashid Nezhmetdinov? Actually, I engine checked for accuracy this game. White's accuracy was average 9 centipawn loss. That is extremely accurate. What we've witnessed here in this little game is very high precision attacking chess. Very, very high precision. And definitely there's an element of celebrating the classic knight on f5 in a vivid manner, as in this example game. If you wondered why a knight on f5 can be destructive, yeah, take away the feature where black hasn't got the light squared bishop, then take away the feature where black's pawns are not fragmented, and then you see the power of a knight on f5. Completely destructive game, getting that knight to f5 with tempo on the queen on e6. A beautiful demonstration really of attacking play, yes, without the light squared bishop. So losing the light squared bishop is not the end of the world. It can have major benefits for knight outposts on light squares, as this game demonstrates, sacrificially no less as well. Bishop takes b6, giving up the other bishop, so the knights do the job with the queen. The knights in conjunction with the queen, extremely destructive. So it's here, after queen takes g4 check, black realises he's doomed. The queen on c8 ends up being a tactical target to knight e7 in these variations. Wonderful stuff. Comments or questions on YouTube? Thanks very much.